My name is Chidi Amudo. I'm the CEO of MudoZangl. MudoZangl is a company we founded to address certain gaps we noticed especially in the area of integrating processes. One of the things we found out is that many industries and many companies have phenomenal processes, but within different silos. The problem is always when they have to integrate those processes together. And in addressing those issues, we recognize that there are a lot of players in that space. But what was missing, in our own opinion, was a solution that addresses both the need for expertise in that domain and also the technology. So the bringing together of domain expertise and technology resulted in what we consider to be the major unique selling point for us, which is the hybrid intelligence. With that, therefore, we are in a position where we can address problems in such a manner that historically has been very difficult for most other players to tackle. That led to the platform called noobyia. So noobyia, therefore, is a platform that kind of orchestrates this integration of different processes in silos by having a strong understanding of the domain space and also of the technology that is relevant to bringing the solution to life. So, noobyia is just is the platform, that we use to deploy most of our solutions in the industry. So, I think the best way to look at noobyia is to consider it as an expression of the hybrid intelligence. And in that sense, we offer solutions to different sectors. We offer solutions within the finance space. We offer solutions within the oil and gas space. Those are the two main examples that we currently provide solutions at. Having said that, because of the agnostic nature of noobyia, it is applicable in any industry and any sector. At the moment, our focus are purely on those two sectors, but also looking at four major core areas. These areas are in the area of sustainability, and in that space, we have a solution we call carbon management that tackles your Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3 emissions. And beyond that, it also helps with the developing a robust strategy for abating emissions. And we hopefully will have the minimum, we have a product that we're going to release at the end of this month that addresses the exchange of emissions, particularly when it concerns your Scope 3. Because the Scope 3 emission is an indirect emission, which the way we look at it is that somebody's Scope 1 is another person's Scope 3. So there has to be an ecosystem that allows that exchange to take place seamlessly. This is probably the most complex of all the scopes in order to quantify and to avoid double dipping. And we believe we have a solution in place now that actually addresses that, and that will go live at the end of this month. The other thing that we are working on is the integrated gas management. Within the Nigerian sector particularly, gas is recognized as the transition fuel, but the challenges faced across the value chain are enormous. One of the biggest problems has always been the issue around transaction disputes, whereby people who are the producers who are trying to sell gas are always in constant dispute with those who are buying the gas from them, largely because the accounting of the gas that is being transmitted, there is a bit of concern around who is being truthful about the process. So we built a solution, therefore, that addresses that concern. But beyond that, it also goes to the point where when you are managing multiple contracts, which is normally the case in the gas space, where you have a lot of off-takers, the challenge has always been meeting the contractual obligations, and that depends on what is coming from your upstream part of the business and what the wells are producing and how they should produce, what is the quality of the gas. So we now have a solution which we believe is probably the only commercial solution out there that can address this. And this is currently in use by one of our clients in the country. The third solution is in the financial modeling space. One of the things, this was motivated by the fact that in the oil and gas, in the banking sector in Nigeria, the majority of the non-performing loans are from the oil and gas sector. And the problem with that, we notice, is that while the bankers, can easily tell about their cash flow within seconds and all of those things that they need, they can tell the state of their affairs within minutes or seconds of what is happening. The oil and gas is a lot more complex. So because of that, they don't tend to talk to each other on the same page. This problem is an issue that we think can be resolved when the lenders and the borrowers are able to interact using the same platform that they believe is reflecting reality. So the financial operations model, therefore, is a solution we are developing to bridge the gap between the borrowers and the lenders in a way that this data become live and the processes of the borrower, in this case oil and gas companies, are such that the impact it has on their cash flow, the impact it has on their profitability and their ability to pay back their loan can be evident also to the lenders. That way lenders can respond more proactively to issues that maybe the borrowers might have. And that's one of the solutions we have. Today, as we come here sponsoring an event for the SPE, Society of Petroleum Engineers, the Lagos section, we have a very strong SPE DNA within us, right? Our current chairman, Mr. Egbati Momo, used to be the president of SPE International. One of our board members, Chidi Amudo, used to be SPE chairman of the Lagos section. So we are very, very proud to be doing this. And the solution that is going to be highlighted today is an area of pain in the industry. And not just the oil and gas industry, just everywhere. We know from studies that have been conducted that 90% of strategies that are developed by strategy consultants, most of them don't lead to successful outcomes. And we believe part of that problem is because of the gaps between each of the siloed processes within organizations. The integrated planning tool, therefore, that we are bringing to the market and is being used by a number of companies addresses that issue. From the point at which you do your business planning, all the way to your activity planning, to even to your daily operations. It just depends on which slice of the value chain you are looking at. But you now have a unified planning platform that before now we believe has not been in the market. So those are the 4 core solutions we have in the market. We do have other solutions, but in terms of areas where we feel we have a competitive advantage, where we know that either the solution don't exist or the competition is very, very little, or even when the competition is very, very stiff, like in the area of carbon emissions and things like that, we believe we have superior solutions to whatever is out there in the market. So those are the core areas that we are focused on at the moment. When we started off noobyia, because of the capacity of noobyia and the hybrid intelligence, being able to understand, knowing the domain very well and having the relevant technology, we started off believing that we should just come to a client and whatever problem you have, we'll probably be able to deal with it. What we've learned over the years is that when you are bootstrapping your business, usually that's not a very good way to introduce yourself to the market, because what tends to happen then is that you are bogged down in every little problem that takes you into all sorts of rabbit holes. So the 4 focus areas I mentioned therefore are areas we believe are areas of need, that we are trying to standardize the processes and it's making it easier for us to scale. So when we deal with organizations, especially within the oil and gas space, for example, when we talk about integrated planning or any of these problems we are trying to tackle, we are looking at problems that go beyond just a software. So because people can say you have a software, but there's only so far a software can go. But what we are trying to bring to the table are people who require complete solution to a problem that they have. Rather than they have a software that does a lot of the things that they want, but the last mile of the solution is not available. So we could then become very creative, going out of the system to do something to finish the last mile. So the solutions we bring to the market, we believe those that are going to need it are those who desire transparency within the organizations, because it exposes everything. You have a single source of truth. So if your organization is such that you need transparency in order to function optimally, then this is a solution that is meant for you. Then if you are an organization that has processes in place that are in silos, that are probably doing very well, but there are things that are falling through the cracks, then clearly this is a solution that is for you. If I give a typical example in the integrated planning space, we have organizations that do spend a lot of time on their business planning process. And then what you then find out is that you have scenarios where a part of the organization who is drilling the well has finished drilling the well, and the part of the organization that is supposed to hook up the well to a flow line so you can produce, the flow line is not ready. Or you have a rig that comes to site and the location has not been prepared. So all of those gaps that takes place within each of the different functions, our solution is, these are the people that need the solution. So for it to work in any organization at all, leadership has to take control. And that is why when we talk about our offering, we tend to want to focus more on those that will benefit from transparency. And those that are going to benefit the most are the C-level executives who desire transparency, require the automation, and want to make life a lot easier for themselves. And when we engage with executives who see the benefits of this, they are then able to champion the use of the solution within the organization. But where we try to go bottoms up sometimes, the reality is that people are used to their ways, and the issue of change management and their reluctance to change from the way they work usually pose a huge problem, you know. So for us, our main target audience will be C-level executives who desire transparency, who are looking to create value, who are looking to break down the silos within the organization, and they are looking for a solution that can actually address many of these problems. And we are happy that we have a number of companies whose executives see the value in what we are trying to do and are actively encouraging the adoption of the solution within the organizations.